What's going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Gen X Vet here with a series of videos coming from TikTok. As you read in the title, you can see in the thumbnail that Gen Zers or earlier millennials, I forgot, or later millennials, the ones that were born at the end of the millennial cycle. So they'd be later, right? Yeah, later millennials are having issues with working. So yeah, about to get into it. Also, yeah, Punisher 7 in full effect. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this video.
Why is it that I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live? 40
It's
hours a
life.
week makes me $2,000 a month, and my rent
Hold
is
on. 4 hours a week, 2,000 a month. What the hell do you do to only get 2,000 a month? Rent 1,600. That's roughly what, 340 that she has afterwards. Light, water, food. She probably doesn't have a car because she had to pay insurance also, unless somebody gave you a car. But even with insurance liability, I don't know what that is. But still, 2,000 a month. But don't you have to normally have it's like 3 times the rent? I know where I'm at in Seattle, you have to make 3 times more than your rent to live in Seattle. I live in North Seattle, so yeah, it's it's pretty expensive up here. But I'm not understanding how they. Okay, I guess it depends on where you live, also. So go back a little
a
bit.
month, and my rent is $1,660. So I work 40 hours a week so I can have a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't know what to do. I'm not made for this.
A lot of people are making fun of this girl, but, all of the points I want to make about this video are completely negated by the fact that she can't see the simple fact that she needs to get a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
$1,600+ a month for rent for one person in a 2-bedroom is absurd. Get a roommate, figure it out.
Whoa! Hold on, $600 for one person. It depends on where you live, though. She has a 2 bedroom. So technically, that's good for a 2 bedroom. 1,600. Because before I came to Seattle, when I was back in Dallas, I don't know, I think I was like 19 or something like that. 19, 2000, I don't know. But here, a 1 bedroom will run you 2,800 in Seattle easily. And I live, like I say, in the city, in the Arts District. So yeah, but it's crazy how these are the same women that they want to be independent and I don't need a man, and like they don't want to go 50-50 with a guy. But now that this whole government shutdown is happening, they still don't realize maybe I should check up with somebody. Maybe I should get a roommate. Let's lessen the burden on myself. But they don't want to do that. They rather go 100% by themselves and be miserable than some of these guys really go 50-50, but they don't see it as an option. What ifs?
What the fuck are we doing on this earth, man? Every day, most of us wake up and go to a job that we really don't fucking like, but we can't really quit because
Not me though. Pound retirement.
we got to get the money to pay the bills that they say is important to pay. What the fuck is the point of this life, man? We go to grocery stores and buy food that God gave us for free.
Well, to be all fair, the food is processed, packaged in containers to help prolong the shelf life to a certain extent. Unless you live out in the middle of nowhere and you have access to livestock and vegetables that you can grow on your own, and the livestock that you can raise and process your own food, that's what we got to do. So I understand, but I don't. It sucks. A lot of people have this situation where times are getting hard right now. I got it. Some people don't want to work. Well, if you don't work, you can't afford to be on your phone doing what you're doing. You won't be able to afford to be in a car that you obviously are in. in front of a house or apartment or wherever that you reside. So one does for the other. To get out of your situation, you gotta grind. You gotta put in that extra effort. Get a secondary job. People don't want to hear shit like that. However, what else are you gonna do? You work a menial job, you make menial pay, and you'll stay in your situation. So it's unfortunate that he feels this way. However, he's gonna have to grind, and especially if he has children and he wants to raise a family, he's not gonna see the effects of it, him grinding, unless he grinds for a couple years and it'll pay off towards the end. He'll be older, but it'll pay off for his children, because our families didn't do for us, so we have to be put up in a situation where we can provide for the next. So unfortunately, it's too late for this guy, unless he stumbles across the lottery or he has a family member that's going to leave him some big settlement in a will or something like that. Or he gets hit by a semi-trailer. I'm not trying to be funny, but he gets hit by a semi-trailer and he gets a big payday out of that. You're going to have to work, go back to school, get more education, get into a trade that pays off. That's where a lot of people are these days.
Why the fuck did we pay for lights? Well, that's just the way it is. Fuck you. I'm tired of all this "that's just the way it is" bullshit. This whole fucking system is garbage. America ain't nothing but a big ass fucking plantation, man.
America isn't the only one with the system. Every country, unless Africa, but even then though, there's certain places where you got to have a job to pay for what you got. So if you don't got a job, that pays monetary, you have to produce something, i.e. raise cattle, raise other things, and trade for some type of, utility. So every country has this system, unless you go completely off the grid, where that means you have to have money to buy a plot of land. You have to have money to buy the solar panels and all that other stuff to make your own electricity, to make you produce your own water. So no matter what, it's going to require money.
A big ass fucking plantation. What the fuck are we doing here? There are days I don't want to be on this earth. And I'm not saying I want to unalive myself and nothing like that. But I'm tired, man. It's like, what the fuck is the point of any of this? To work till we 60, 70 years old? Most of us ain't gonna fucking live to see 50.
I'm 47. I joined the military the day after I turned 19. I retired 2 months before I turned 39. So I did 20 years, and I get to live off of that for the rest of my life. So it depends on what career field you go into. It's not funny, but life is choices, man. So some of us, we retired. We get to live off of that. Some people retire at the age of 50. Some people go on to, get these higher paying jobs, like tech and all this other stuff. So people do TikTok stuff. But even with TikTok, that whole scare when they stopped it for, a couple of days or a week or whatever, I forgot the situation. And people start flipping out because that's their only stream of income. So a lot of these things, especially with tech, it'll be here today, gone tomorrow. So especially like now, because all the layoffs are going on, AI is taking over. It's cool to make these, let's be tech, let's build all this stuff, not realizing that you're building programs and all these codes to turn into AI to replace you. What can't be replaced? Firefighters, police officers, military, what else? Doctors, nurses, what else? Plumbers, electrician, linemen, all types of lineman type shit. So more grueling work, but it pays off though. Construction, even, you got to go into a field that you can't be replaced by AI.
But we gotta work to maybe retire. Man, fuck you and all that bullshit, man. I don't give a fuck about who president, left, right, and all this dumbass shit. I'm tired of this whole fucking game, man. It's a big ass game. It's a big ass charade. America is a fucking plantation. I don't give a fuck what nobody got to say about it, man. This shit is exhausting. Like, I don't even want to look for another job. I'm gonna walk in there, they gonna ask me, why do you even want this job? Bitch, because I need some fucking money to pay the bills that they tell me is important to pay. The fuck out of here, man. What the fuck are we?
I don't know. Like I said, I see where he's coming from, but at the same time, what's the alternative? There's always prison. You ain't got to worry about working. But even then, I think they put in the work. They got to do something, right? They got to, build hubcaps or some shit like trash bags or do cleaning, dry cleaning. So, yeah. What else? What else other options you have? I don't get that. They're selling us water, bro. They're not. It's not the fact that it's water, but they process. They, purify the water. Then they package the water. And they ship the water. So you're paying for that service, not the water per se. Anybody can go out anywhere and get water. Like here in Washington, there's plenty of natural places where I can just go get water. But in doing so, I had to get in my vehicle that I pay for, drive to that location that requires gas that I had to pay for, and then we use whatever equipment utility to get that water that I have to pay for. So no matter what, it costs to live. It costs to die even when you think about it. So
to the point where I'm just so sick of like the 9-to-5 corporate America. And the thing is, I just got here. I'm 2 years in and I'm already over it. Like the politics, the climbing up the ladder, the people in the room telling you have to work like extra hard to just make it up to the next level. Well, let's be real, the people probably at the top most likely didn't climb the corporate ladder. They just knew somebody. And some did, but some didn't. But this whole thing of like, we spend 40 hours of the week at work just to survive in corporate America and then survive in America and then just survive. Like, I'm so over this. Like, I have a strong, like, urge to live abroad because something tells me that they just are doing better and just have a happier life abroad. On to the point.
She wants to go abroad to live a happier life that requires money to go to live abroad. And to live abroad in the country and you want to become a citizen, I'm pretty sure there's things out there that you have to show that you're proof that you're making money to be able to stay over in that country and be, able to produce. They're not just going to let you come over there and freeload. So no matter where you go, you still have to have money to do or be or live. So I don't understand what she's saying. Unless you're rich. Not everybody's fortunate enough to be, just be rich. Like I say, you hit the lottery, you strike it big or TikTok or whatever. But even then, until you strike it big on TikTok or whatever other platform you do, you still have to make money to be able to have that phone to be able to be on TikTok, to strike it rich. So it's just it's endless. This is the beginning of your glow up when you stop blaming yourself and start questioning the system. I felt all of this. The desire to live differently, that's not a fantasy. It's a calling. I literally made a video about this. It's exhausting and how now I'm spending my 40 plus hours pursuing my goals. Wish me luck. They just want us to be stuck in a box while they evolve, but God never plays about his children. Trust his timing. You start selling digital products online. I stopped my 9-to-5 3 years ago. The best thing I ever did. I may wait more. And I have to, with more freedom. I love it. It's pretty much the same thing. Be your own boss, babe. Best decision ever made. All over it. Yes, this is so true. I walked away in January right before my birthday and not look back. But, like I say, in order to get there, we have to make money. So one plays into the other's hand.
I just quit my 9-to-5 and I have a newborn at home that was born.
This dude just said he quit his 9-to-5. He got a newborn at home. Why? You just put an entirely whole new burden on yourself. Needlessly. Oh, let's go back and listen.
I just quit my 9-to-5 and I have a newborn at home that was born 2 months ago and I have no idea what I'm going to do. I am completely sick and tired of clocking in and being controlled by a narcissistic manager now.
This dude is young as fuck though. I'm like, join the military, bro. You're young enough. Join the military. Guaranteed paycheck, guaranteed housing. Your family be taken care of. Anything happens to you, they'll be taken care of. You're good. But just quitting your job without any plan, and you have a 2-month-old, that's when they're at the most expensive. They're most expensive, and then when they become like 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6ish, they're not as expensive. And then when they get older, that's when they become more expensive again because you got to pay for shit like cheerleader practice, football, basketball, baseball practice, whatever they decide to want their interests go. So you quit at the worst part. All the diapers, the formula, the baby clothing, because they're gonna grow out of that shit really quick. So
Now, I'm not coming on here to tell everybody to quit their 9 to 5 because it's probably one of the most dumb decisions I've ever made being in the
and
position
you
that I'm
sound stupid
currently
even
in right
putting it on the
now.
internet.
But I've been with the company for over 5 years. I've made the company a lot of money. I made a lot of money myself, but I am just so completely sick and tired of things not changing, clocking in, being abused by a manager, and just being in this current constant cycle.
So he said he made a lot of money. So I'm gonna go ahead and just assume he saved a good amount so he could be able to quit. But there's no additional income coming in, so he's got to do something like quick. So he probably can sustain himself for maybe 3 to 6 months. So, yeah.
And I just today I had it. I just completely lost it. I had it, and I'm gonna try this TikTok thing. Hopefully it works out. Wish me luck. Like this.
Okay, now he made a mistake. If you're gonna try TikTok is an app. He could have kept his job, sucked it up, just kept pressing forward while he do TikTok. But going from one, dropping it completely, just going into one with an unknown, nothing to fall back on, that's stupid. That's very stupid.
Video, comment down, save it, do whatever you can. I've watched a lot of videos on how to go viral on TikTok, so I'm going to be trying to do that and implement a lot of these strategies that I have learned and hopefully teach you guys along the journey. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm scared shitless, so
You should
follow
be
me
because
along
you
on
did a
this
stupid
journey.
thing. Let's see what these comments guys say. You gotta be burning them up. You made the right choice for your mental health. Now take some time to map out what feels right for you. What are your gifts, talents, and goals? Find a supportive community as well. Yes, best thing to do is sell digital products online. Coming to wish you the best. Sorry, but this is not smart to rely on the internet to pay your bills because you quit. That's what I was saying. Keep it. Do the other thing on the side. When one starts, when the one that you want to do mostly becomes more fruitful, that's when you drop the other one. He says, we shall see. Sell those digital products online. So you quit your job with a new baby without a backup career for a career on TikTok. You got to have Aiden Ross type level of fallout to make it, think of your baby. Yeah, they're saying the same thing. It's just, it wasn't a smart idea to do that. But hey, wish the guy the best,
Only 2 years into working my 9 to 5 job, and this is awful. So you're telling me I'm having the Sunday scaries every week to dread 5 days of my life, to then be rewarded with a little thrill on Friday, but then be so tired from working that I pass out at like 10 p.m.
Some of these people don't know what the military life is like, because it's not all sunshine and roses. It's not all doom and gloom either, but there are days when you just like, fuck, I don't want to go deal with that motherfucker, at the S shop or in the platoon. Like my first sergeant is a pain in the ass. Being a platoon sergeant, you got to go talk to, commanders or first sergeants all the time. You just don't want to deal with it. Being, having a platoon where, every Monday you go in for briefings and see what's happening, hear about what soldiers got in trouble or what sergeants or NCOs got in trouble, and you hoping that none of them are yours. And you're hoping that if something did happen that involves your platoon, that your squad leaders and team leaders have the decency to contact you first before you hear it from your first sergeant or commander. They don't understand the type of shit we go through. But you do it for 20 years. You're not always at the same low level. When you start getting more and more rank, shit becomes even worse because shit rolls downhill all the time. And so a lot of times, with dealing with, sergeants, NCOs, all that, yeah, it's those who know.
For Saturdays, love them, but really that is only one full day of fun because Sunday, have a great Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon rolls around and I have the Sunday scaries and I'm dreading my life for the next 5 days. I went to college for 4 years to be stuck in this cycle.
What was your degree
What?
in? That's another thing. What's your degree in? Was it basket weaving underwater? Was it I don't know, healthcare, the lower tier, like, assistant or, RN, stuff like that? Did you go to a higher tier? Well, she said 4 years, so no, definitely not a doctor, definitely not a actual therapist, because they have to have a doctorate or a master's degree these days. The assistants have 2, 3, and 4 year degrees now. So yeah, it depends on what you go in as.
No, 2 years is enough. So I'm on TikTok and I'll be promoting products and posting my way out of this god-awful cycle. I cannot settle for a life of dread, especially if they want us to retire at 70 now. No. I'm going to be using the internet because I see people making a fuck ton of money on here, and you can be making a fuck ton of money by creating digital products, selling those, and then promoting products that you didn't even make. So yeah, that's my plan. That's what I'm going to be doing to get me out of this god-awful cycle because I cannot take another second of it. Happy Sunday, though. I'm only 2 years into working my 9
Let's see what these comments got to say. That's the candle line I created, so it'll be out soon. I'm just finishing up the labels. So something to do other than me doing this YouTube thing. Ugh, me either. I cannot do this 9-to-5 government job for the rest of my life. Because I work remote, I make my own schedule, and I don't have Sunday scaries anymore. What's it? Oh, I guess you're dreading to go back into work on Monday. In the military, Sundays can give it to you just as bad as Tuesdays and Wednesdays, depending on what your job is. As an MP, every day is a possible work day. We're always on duty because you could be out doing something and, yo, Sergeant J, we need you to come in because Sergeant so-and-so got in trouble or blah, 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 blah. So we need a patrol supervisor or, some bullshit at the company. So, yeah, that's the job of being a military policeman in the Army. No day is guaranteed off. You can be pulled in at a moment's notice unless you got leave or even on pass. You can sign I'm going to be on pass, 4-day pass, whatever. They can call you off of that too, just because fuck you, right? I used to work 3-12 night shifts and then I have any holidays off and don't get any sleep at a regular time. I take the Sunday scaries anytime. So I told my boss I wanted to move to the company because I was getting bored and thus lazy at my current job. And she said, sometimes it's better to be bored. It's a steady job. You're good at it. Well, sometimes it is, but it also be mundane. You got that whole Groundhog Day thing. Wake up, every day is the same. Every day is the same. Nothing changing. As in the military, especially a MP, there's no 2 days that are the same. Because one day you may have a domestic you have to go solve, or you may have an active shooter, or you may have to go deal with, some BS at the barracks. You may have to do something with something at the front gate, traffic stops, felony traffic stops, larceny at the PX or at a bank. It's always different being an MP. I liked it. Well, I loved the job. That's why I did it for 20 years. But you also hate it. You hate when you're not on garrison and you're actually in green cycle where you're at the company, you're doing training as if you're deploying. So it just depends on what you do and the type of people that you're around. That's all that really matters.
Why are we not talking about how fucking sick a 40-hour work week is? I'm so sorry. So you're telling me that I have to wake up at the fucking butt crack of dawn every single day?
Yeah, stupid. Look, I struggle with this because there's obviously a lot of validity in what this young lady is saying, but it's also the crux of what's wrong with a lot of our generation in society right now, where they don't think, and no one seems to think, that they have to do anything that's remotely uncomfortable. And sure, take care of yourself, don't be exploited, don't work yourself to death, don't stress yourself into a heart attack. But at the same time, yes, life is not easy, and I think a lot of privileged people, regardless of their ethnic or cultural background, are suddenly thinking the world is entitled to them, or that they're entitled to all the perks and benefits of a good life. yeah, at some point you're gonna have to do shit you don't wanna. And this isn't an old, angry old man telling you what's what. It's why our country is probably not going to be the country that we remember and want it to be in about 100 years because of thinking like that. Well, I don't want to. I shouldn't have to.
You got to think about those boomers also, especially the earlier boomers, which are the older ones that are around, I guess 70s, 80-ish range. And they're seeing the generation of today and how they disrespect everyone they come up to. They have no courtesy. They have a poor work ethic. Like the boomers see that. The Gen Zs like me, we see it. Like, no customer service skills whatsoever. A lot of them can't even count money. You give them, if something comes out to like, $11.42, and you want to pull out the change to cover the 42 cents, and you give them 11, they're like, and it's just like you see their brain just breaks. So yeah, because back in the day when you were kids, well, not kids, when you were in school, they give you, the teacher would give you that thing of money, and you had to break out the money, like the quarters, the nickels, dimes, the pennies, and the fake dollars, and they would make you practice, paying for stuff where you had to learn money. They don't do that anymore these days.
I'm going to work from home in my underwear and teach yoga via Zoom from my farmhouse in upstate New York. And let's be frank, guys, it's rich white liberals, rich white liberal women. Buy my book, How to Manage Your Girlfriend's White Guilt and Other Horror.
Anyway, yeah, he's trying to sell some shit. Here, millennial here, not Gen Z. I feel the 40-hour work week is an archaic, man-made construct. Here we go. We were not put on earth to spend the majority of it working. Okay. Think of it this way. Back in the day, biblical days, right? It was different. It wasn't really work. There were services being provided, trades, if you will. People tilled the ground, wheat and all the other stuff, and they would take it to market and they would trade for fish, other products that they don't, make on their own. But along those lines, then, the introduction of money and gold and all the other stuff, and people want to start building, and as the world progressed, things start to have a cost. So that's where we are these days. It's not archaic. That's just how the world is. There is no perfect system. Think about it. It's not the Gizzies don't work. It's we're tired of working. Oh shit, my bad. It's they're tired of working out, a life away. Being too hard when we're off to do anything. People are sick of being exploited. It's not about wanting to. It's about questioning why it's the status quo and can be changed for the betterment of humanity. Gen Z has it 100% correct on this one. How? If you don't work, you don't get money, you don't have money, you can't do shit. So until you're that rich person, you got to work to get money. These people are shitting on Henry Ford for inventing the 5-day work week. They don't realize the alternative was 6 and 7 days. Especially, you go back 40, 50 years, 60 even, where people were working on the farms. That's back-breaking work. Have you ever tried to bale hay? I remember doing it one time when I was younger. We lived in Oklahoma, in the country of Oklahoma. A hay barrel, the bale of hay. Oh my God! Throwing out of a truck to feed a horse and cows. Nah, I'm good. Give me a regular job, and I'll be good. But anyway, that's my thought about it. Let me know your thoughts and comment down below. How do you feel about Gen Z complaining about work? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What's the alternative? Let's get the conversation started. Like, share, subscribe, and notification bell. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.